In a perfect dream world, all the monsters and criminals in our society would actually be held accountable for their crimes.
What you gonna do? What you gonna do when they come for you? Bad boys, bad boys.
Sadly, we don't live in that type of society. We live in a society where the rich and powerful live by a different set of rules, and they're able to pull off some of the worst, most awful, horrible behavior on the face of this earth. And because they're able to buy off government, they get to get away with it. Maybe until now, though. This, as of course, we have the latest about the Jeffrey Epstein client list, the story of the decade. I would argue the most important story within the last few years, as it uncovers some of the most seediest, some of the most powerful, influential, richest people in the world in the behaviors that, again, we can't mention here. We have a family-friendly show here, but goes towards larger spiritual, demonic, evil creations that most people can't even fathom. But it happens, and it happens more often than a lot of people think, as a lot of people can't even imagine. Yeah, I can't see myself doing this, so they don't understand that all the people that you probably worship, all the people in charge, all the people making the top most important decisions, well, they're probably on this list that has been protected so far. And let's be honest with ourselves. Our new government doesn't have the best track record on this particular issue. As the latest that we're getting with this story is that the DOJ is pushing the FBI to review and release more Epstein files as we are waiting for phase 2 after the disastrous launch of phase 1, which didn't really release any kind of new information except for redact information that was already unredacted and readily available to the general public. Yeah. And then we found out the government was asking criminals within their own government to snitch on themselves, which I was like, wait, really? I thought personally that there was some kind of whistleblower. I thought that maybe they had someone come forward within the government and said, yeah, I have the hard drives. I made a copy here. But no, what we found out is that the government is getting these files through asking the FBI for them that was criminally involved in this case since the 1990s, and in my opinion has been actively covering it up since then. You know, because children have been coming to them since 1996 and saying, hey, this is happening to me. Hey, I'm a child. Hey, I was hurt here. Hey, my sister, my child was hurt here. And the FBI just was like, what? Get out of here, kid. Shoo! Out! And the kids are like, what? I thought that we have a justice system. We do not. We have a two-tier system. Does that two-tier system, do these powerful people have power and influence over Donald Trump? Well, that's what we're going to be finding out here. Now, we got new statements from Pam Bondi that was doing yet another interview on Fox News, giving us an update about this, and I think it's only fair to hear her out with
more about the January 6th.
With what she has to say about the upcoming potential disclosures here that a lot of us are waiting here for. There's no timeline. There's no deadline. There's no, we're going to get this to you. It's just, here's some binders. Get the hell out of here. Here's some influencers. Look at those guys. Ha ha. That wasn't good. That wasn't a good move. But listen. Doing this job, we also have to understand, is an extremely dangerous job. And from the very beginning of this, I have been giving my prayers and my thoughts. Kash Patel, Pam Bondi, and all of the good people at the FBI praying for their courage in this story. Because you unwind this story, you unwind the power structure that runs America, that runs the world. And I've been praying for their safety because it's also important to note here, the powerful people that they're exposing. These are individuals that take people out routinely. So this is a dangerous gamut. This is not an easy gamut. There's a tremendous amount of pressure on the Attorney General, and a lot of people are automatically black and white here. I'm saying, okay, respectfully, we got to keep up the pressure, but at the same time, we cannot forget about this story and understand the bigger significance here of all of this that, puts a tremendous amount of, am I actually going to be releasing this type of stuff? This is big stuff here, okay? This is not something that is just easy and quick to do.
More about the January 6th commission, and what about the Epstein Files? A lot of conversation about the Epstein Files, and I recognize that when you're dealing with children, it takes much more time. You've got to ensure that what you're sending out publicly is not revealing any personal information. But can you give us a sense of those two items and whether or not we'll learn more about them?
Sure. You're going to hear, all I'll say on January 6th, you're going to hear a lot more about the January 6th Commission in a very good way. And as to Epstein, yes, you're absolutely right, Maria. You know, tens of thousands of pages of documents and hundreds of victims of Jeffrey Epstein. Wow. So the FBI, they have been working round the clock at my directive, at Kash Patel's directive. Now Dan Bongino's there, who is a great asset for all of us at the FBI as well. But yeah, we have to protect their identity, their personal information to make sure they're safe. But other than that, we are releasing all of these documents as soon as we can get them redacted to protect the victims of him, of all of these horrific crimes that he committed.
A lot of people are going to, you know, react to that back. I don't buy that. I don't buy that at all, because it's taking that long. How many documents do you have? That's another question that a lot of people have. And it's just for the victim. I mean, control find. Here's the hundreds of victims' names. Have someone control find all the documents. But and we're also probably dealing with an obfuscation effort by the FBI that probably gave them all of these documents, some of them that are probably not even related to it, some of them that probably don't have anything to do with it. And as I noted before, there's a possibility here that the documents that were given were meant to create a situation where it's going to take forever for the people working there to get through them. Another thing that I would kind of caution about, as of course Kash Patel is making significant changes to the FBI. Dan Bongino just joined him as deputy director of the FBI, and I believe these two guys. I trust these two guys, but they're also commanding a ship with a hostile crew. As Kash Patel is moving ahead with command changes at the FBI, there's also a lot of reports of him hiring private security, him trying to do some kind of loyalty tests to find out who's really there to actually be a police officer and who actually is there to be a criminal. A lot of people there at the FBI are sadly taking their positions of power. But what's going to be happening here, as Donald Trump made some surprising statements around the MLK documents? Well, before getting into that, we want to tell you about LukeUnfiltered.com. The best members area on the internet. We're going to be doing more content for you guys. I'm going to be sitting and editing a whole bunch of really cool behind-the-scene exclusive videos just for you guys. The last video that we released was us on a range day, and you get to see some really cool things that you guys get to take part in about 4 weeks from now, since we're going to be doing it once again. Member meetups, nature hikes, you name it. We do all of it, all on LukeUnfiltered.com. Lots of really fun stuff ahead. I'm gonna do one more meetup here, I think, in South Miami. And I'm going to be traveling to Las Vegas. I think I'm going to do another meetup in Las Vegas during the Bitcoin conference as well. So really fun stuff, and signing up is quick, it's easy, it's simple. It's in the description. Just click the link right now. 20 cents a day means the world to us, but also helps us grow, build, and expand. We got a lot of really awesome things ahead of us, and all of those things would not be possible if it wasn't for your direct participation in this independent media organization. You guys get to also ask questions. If your questions are related to the topic I'm talking about, I will actually be playing your videos. I talk to you guys on Telegram. This is the perfect way to reach out to me one-on-one, communicate with me, and you get all of that plus a lot more just by signing up to LukeUnfiltered.com. So if you haven't done that yet, what are you doing? Sign up. It's quick, it's easy, and simple, and I will see you in our Telegram chat right after this video. Now, Kash Patel also has a very big job ahead of him, along with Dan Bongino. Now, another thing that I would warn throughout all of this is, why is the FBI redacting this now? The FBI that is filled with agents that can't be trusted. They applauded and gave bagpipes and had people crying when the guy who covered up the Epstein Files at the New York City office was forced to retire. I think forced to retire is a little bit too nice, personally. I think there should be a bigger investigation to why the American people haven't gotten any kind of legitimate answers here and why there are so many anomalies throughout this entire case. Kash Patel also is planning on major cutbacks at the ATF. Get rid of the NFA immediately, as 1,000 agents from the ATF might be soon joining the FBI. Abolish the ATF as soon as possible. Now, what do we make of Pam Bondi pushing the FBI to release these documents? Well, she's probably facing a lot of pressure. She's probably facing a lot of pressure from the general public, from independent media, from everyone on Twitter, and also probably from Donald Trump, who's kind of asking himself, why aren't these documents released? And is it really just because of victims here? Or is there something else being classified here? As Pam Bondi also announced that the documents are going to be classified for national security, with people saying, how does this story involve national security in the first place? That shouldn't be the case here. And CNN is now reporting that the FBI's weekend homework was to redact the Epstein Files, which, again, that's just the type of group of people I just don't trust, as we are now finding out that FBI agents are now working 12-hour overnight shifts to redact these Epstein files for their public release here. We have the AP saying people named in the... Okay, I want to talk about this story in a little bit here, because there could be a reason why they're taking so long here, according to the corporate media. But Vanity Fair, I think, definitely takes the prize for this propaganda piece here, saying... Ludicrous situation. Jeffrey Epstein case redaction takes over FBI New York office. The Bureau's New York office field office normally chooses drug dealers and spies. No. The New York City field office usually goes after because of people of their political assertions and beliefs. Okay, let's just be real with ourselves. The FBI in the New York City field office has shown itself to be extremely political, extremely corrupt here. And now this is the same office that's redacting these files. I don't know. Red flag automatically. There should be some kind of independent organization going through it, sort of like a WikiLeaks, sort of like a government transparency organization like Deutsche, that I think should be handed those documents, not the same people that were a part of the cover-up for, over 30 plus years. And the Vanity Fair reports right now, according to multiple sources, priority one is redacting the Epstein files. Oh, good. It's good to hear that this is happening here. As, of course, there was a little bit of a controversy surrounding the JFK files, as some people's Social Security numbers were released. Again, these were older people, some of these people mostly not alive here. And Trump defends this and says, yeah, we gave them, we gave people everything. There were still some files that were redacted in there. Some people weren't happy. But we also have to remember the government saw this and then took it down. Sure, it was a bit of a mistake here. The government's not perfect. But at the same time, the government has already lost your Social Security numbers, and they're pretty much available on the dark web, by the way, if you didn't know that already. So, yeah, there's that. Trump also pushing forward here, as he just announced that he wants to speed up the release of the FBI MLK spying files. And I think we're going to learn about MLK being a little bit of a dirty dog, which is true. And that's his personal private life, which, of course, people will judge him for. And I think Trump wants to release them because there is circumstantial evidence highlighting how the government also played a role in his assassination. But the dirty tricks that the FBI played with him were really cruel, were really evil. There's stories at the FBI spying on MLK illegally, seeing that he was a little bit of a dirty dog. He was calling some chicks up on the side and was talking dirty to him. He was sent to jail. As he's in jail, they play some of those clips for the wife. And they call his wife, and they're like, look at the dirty dog that you got here. His wife stood behind him throughout all of this. But imagine being sent to jail, and the feds are literally leaking your private boom talks with your side chicks to your wife that is trying to stand with you and is pretty much your main support base as you rely on her for everything. So, yeah, the Justice Department is also moving to release surveillance records on Martin Luther King Jr. I think we're going to find out Some really interesting, eye-opening things there. But I think Tucker Carlson really hit the nail on the head here, describing this entire situation, saying, forget about the Epstein documents. We need to see the Epstein videos, since there are videos and hard drives. Throughout this entire FBI investigation of this matter, the FBI failed every step of the way. They never even went to the New Mexico property. They never even stepped foot in it. Epstein had properties all over the world. They never went into those properties, right? And now the official story that we're getting is that the FBI was at the safe, they got the tapes, and then somehow the tapes went missing. That's the story. That's the official version of events that we're being told here. Similar stories happened with the surveillance footage outside of Epstein's cell. Well, it just went missing. Oh, the camera wasn't working. Oh, it was working. Oh, Barr said he had the footage. You watched the footage. Oh, no, then there's no footage. It just didn't exist. Okay, someone's lying here. The people who are lying should be held criminally responsible here. And this is just the beginning of this. This is just the start of this. Now, are people hopeful that they're going to get the full truth, that we're going to finally get answers here to some of the most powerful people and all of the crimes that they have been up to? Can we actually get that? Is that something that's going to be attainable here? Well, according to Trump's lawyer, Alina Habba, she says, yeah, there's going to be prosecutions. And this is why the documents are taking so long, because they're going to be met with people who are going to be arrested and prosecuted because of these documents. That's what she says. But again, she doesn't really hold an official position. She's not at the FBI. She's not at the DOJ. And we're going to be looking back at this, and we're going to see if she was actually telling the truth here or not. And there's going to be a lot of onus here on a lot of this. Was she lied to by someone? Did she get this information from someone? Who's spreading the disinformation and lies if this doesn't come out to be a reality here? And we, of course, are going to be keeping all the notes. We're not going to forget here. You're not going to forget here. This story is important. This story is something that we cannot make sure goes away, or that we could be placated with, or that we could just be told, yeah, what do you want? Don't worry about it. It's okay. Trust the government. Can't do that here. You cannot do that here. Thousands of children of some of the most influential people. Listen, the FBI field office, they know the customers of Ghislaine Maxwell. They know the pimp that she was and the customers she had. Bare minimum, there should be, okay, let's talk to some of these customers. Bare minimum, this guy who gave all the money to Epstein, let's talk to him. Hey, all the banks that didn't follow regulations, let's talk to them. Let's give them more than just a slap on the wrist here. Let's bring all of the people in here associated, tied to him. Let's have them testify. Let's get some information here. Let's look at those hard drives, those tapes, those photos. Let's bring all those people in and let's see what they know here. That's what should be happening. Will it happen? Well, we're gonna see. We're gonna see. I'm a little bit skeptical if there's going to be arrests, to be quite honest, with the way that things have been going. How will this unfold here? What's going to happen if the people of this country find out that we have now documents proving that the U.S. government was using your tax dollars to run a child trafficking operation? What's going to be the ramifications of that? That's going to be big. That's going to be huge. Do you think it's actually going to happen? Let me know down in the comment section below. I love you guys. Sign up to LukeUnfiltered.com. Stay tuned for more here on YouTube.com/WeAreChange.